They kicked me out of the family chat. No warning, no explanation, just a message saying, "Andrea, it's better if you step away." I stared at the screen, my heart pounding so loud I could barely breathe. My own parents had typed those words. And what came next from my aunt changed everything. Before we go deeper, hit subscribe, drop a like, and share this video. Because trust me, this story will make you question what family really means. I tried to laugh it off at first, pretending it didn't hurt. But when I scrolled up, I saw the rest of their messages, each one worse than the last. She's a failure. She's jealous. She'll never make it without us. They didn't even realize I could still see the chat for a few seconds before they removed me. My hands shook as I read every cruel word. It wasn't the first time, though. My family had always treated me like the disappointment, the one who never lived up. My cousins had their dream jobs, my sister just got engaged, and me? I was the girl who quit her corporate job to waste time on some startup. They loved reminding me how stupid that decision was. But that day, something snapped. My aunt, yes, the same one who never spoke much, typed a single line that froze everyone in silence. Maybe Andrea doesn't need this group. Maybe we'll need her soon. The group went quiet. No one replied. Not my mom, not my dad, not even my perfect sister. And that's when I realized my aunt knew something they didn't, something that could flip everything. The silence in the group chat felt heavier than any insult they'd ever thrown at me. My mom quickly changed the topic, pretending my aunt hadn't said anything. But I couldn't stop thinking about that line. Maybe we'll need her soon. What did she mean? For days I couldn't focus. Every time I opened my laptop to work on my small tech startup, the one everyone mocked, I'd hear their voices in my head. It's not real work. Nobody's going to buy your useless app. You should have stayed in that boring office job. But my aunt's message kept echoing, almost like a warning, or maybe a promise. Then one night I got a call from her. I almost didn't answer. "Andrea," she said, her voice trembling. "Don't tell anyone I called. But you should know something. Your father's been bragging about an investment deal. He plans to use your app's name to get investors' attention." I froze. "What? He doesn't even understand what I built." "I know," she said, "but he's lying to people. He's saying he helped you build it. You need to protect yourself." My chest tightened. This was beyond betrayal, it was theft. My own father, the man who called me a failure, was using my hard work for his reputation. I stayed quiet, my brain spinning through 1,000 emotions: anger, disbelief, heartbreak. The next morning, I opened my laptop and saw dozens of notifications. My dad's LinkedIn post had gone viral. Proud to announce the upcoming launch of our family-developed tech platform. My name wasn't even mentioned. Not once. The comments were full of praise. "Amazing. Congrats, sir. You raised a genius family." My blood boiled. He was using my code, my designs, my idea, the one I'd built while eating ramen and crying over endless rejections. That's when I made a decision. I wasn't going to argue. I wasn't going to beg. I was going to prove who really owned that app. Quietly, legally, and in a way none of them would ever forget. Because the next time my family saw me, it wouldn't be in a group chat. It would be on every major tech headline in America. 3 weeks later, I walked into the biggest tech conference in San Francisco, the same one my dad had bragged about attending as a guest of honor. What he didn't know was that I'd been invited too. Not as a guest, as a keynote speaker. My heart raced as I walked past banners, cameras, and hundreds of entrepreneurs. For years, I'd stayed invisible, coding in my tiny apartment while everyone else laughed. But now my company, Novalink, had quietly secured a multi-million-dollar partnership with one of the top investors in Silicon Valley. And tonight I was unveiling it, live. My aunt's words echoed again in my mind. Maybe we'll need her soon. She'd been right all along. Back home, my family had no clue. They were probably getting ready for dinner, still talking about how delusional I was. My dad was already wearing his expensive suit. preparing to attend the same event, thinking he'd be shaking hands with people who believed his lies. When I walked onto the stage, the lights hit me and the crowd went silent. Cameras clicked. I took a breath and began. 2 years ago, everyone told me I was wasting my time. But sometimes, being underestimated is the best thing that can happen to you. I looked straight ahead and smiled, because right in the second row, I saw him, my father, frozen in his seat. He hadn't expected to see me there. Not on that stage. Not under the spotlight. His face turned pale as I continued. Tonight, I'm proud to announce that Novalink, a fully independent company I founded, has officially partnered with PrimeTech to launch our new AI software worldwide. Gasps filled the room. My father's mouth opened slightly, his hand gripping the edge of his seat. Reporters swarmed him immediately, and that's when I dropped the real bomb. There's been a lot of confusion about ownership lately, I said, holding back a smirk. So, for the record, Novalink has always been my solo project. I've never taken a single dollar from my family. Every line of code, every investor, every deal, it's all mine. The audience erupted in applause. Flashlights burst like fireworks. My father's reputation, built on lies, was crumbling in front of hundreds of witnesses. But I wasn't done. I still had one final move, one that would make everyone in that family think twice before ever mocking me again. The crowd's applause echoed like thunder, but all I could hear was the pounding of my heart. My father was still sitting there, frozen, pretending to clap, pretending not to know me, pretending everything was fine. But I could see the panic in his eyes. That same man who once said, "You'll never amount to anything without us," was now realizing he didn't just lose control, he lost the story. After the event, reporters surrounded me, flashing lights in every direction. "Andrea, how did you come up with Novalink? Is it true your family supported you?" I smiled politely. "No," I said softly but firmly. "My family didn't believe in me. They told me to step away. And honestly, I'm glad they did. It gave me space to build everything they said I couldn't." That quote went viral overnight. Every major blog, every business page, every trending thread had my name plastered across it. Andrea Davis, the girl who turned rejection into $1 million empire. I didn't sleep that night, not because of nerves, but because of peace. For the first time, I didn't have to explain myself. The world could see what I'd done, but just as I was sipping my morning coffee the next day, my phone buzzed. A family group message request. The same one they had kicked me out of. My mom had created a new chat, Family Reconnect. I almost laughed. My aunt had already added me. And her first message? Told you they'd need you soon. Within seconds, messages started pouring in. Dad, Andrea, that speech was something. We're proud of you, Mom. Your father didn't mean those things. He was just under pressure, sister. Can we maybe meet? You've become kind of famous. It was almost funny. The same people who mocked me were now trying to rewrite history, acting like they'd always been in my corner. But my aunt sent me a private message right after. They don't care about you, Andrea. They care about what you've become. She was right. But I didn't reply. I just kept scrolling until I saw something that made me pause. My dad had posted a public apology on LinkedIn. Proud of my daughter Andrea for creating Novalink. Sometimes we underestimate the ones we love most. The comments were pouring in. Sympathy, admiration, forgiveness. But something about it felt off. Too clean, too rehearsed. Then my aunt called again, her voice lower this time. Andrea, I think your father's trying to take credit again, through his new company. He's saying he advised you and helped you get investors. I clenched my jaw. He really can't stop, can he? No, she said. But maybe it's time you stop him. Once and for all. I opened my laptop, eyes burning with focus. The next phase wasn't about revenge. It was about justice. I had documents, emails, timestamps, proof of every single hour I'd spent building Novalink alone. And this time, I wasn't going to stay silent. Because if he wanted to play public, I was about to end his reputation in public. The next morning, I walked into a press conference, calm, collected, and ready. My father had called this event himself, claiming it was to celebrate our family's contribution to Novalink. Cameras were already flashing when I arrived. He was standing at the podium, smiling for the media like he hadn't tried to erase me from my own life. I didn't say a word at first. I just took a seat in the front row. When he saw me, his confident grin flickered. He wasn't expecting me to show up. But I had planned this moment perfectly. As he started talking about family collaboration, my phone buzzed. My aunt texted one word. "Now!" I stood up, holding a folder in my hand. "Excuse me," I said loudly enough for every microphone to catch it. The room fell silent. My father's voice cracked mid-sentence. "Before you continue, Dad, I think everyone deserves the truth." I walked to the stage, opened the folder, and handed out printed copies of my patent registration, the official government documents proving I was the sole founder and owner of Novalink. Every piece of code, every design, every investor, I said steadily, was built and signed by me alone. "Here's the proof." The reporters surged forward, snapping photos, shouting questions. My father froze, color draining from his face. I could see the exact moment he realized the empire of lies he'd built was about to collapse, and there was nothing he could do to stop it. One journalist asked, "Mr. Davis, did you really claim to have co-founded your daughter's company?" He opened his mouth, but no words came out. Just silence. I took the mic again. When my parents told me to step away, I did. But what they didn't realize was that stepping away gave me the strength to build something they could never control. The room exploded in applause. Reporters clapped. Some people even stood up. My aunt smiled from the corner, tears in her eyes. My father quietly walked off the stage, unable to face the truth any longer. That night, every news outlet ran the story. Daughter exposes family's lies on live TV, proves ownership of 40 Maldoor's startup. My inbox overflowed with partnership offers, speaking invitations, and thousands of messages from people saying my story inspired them to stop letting others define their worth. Later that week, my aunt came over. She hugged me tightly and whispered, "You didn't just win, Andrea. You broke the cycle." I smiled, finally feeling the weight lift off my chest. "Yeah," I said softly, "and I didn't even have to fight them. I just outgrew them." Outside my window, city lights sparkled against the night sky, the same city where everyone once told me I'd fail. But this time, I wasn't the girl they laughed at. I was the woman who built her own empire from their rejection. And as I looked at my phone, full of unread messages from the same family that once kicked me out, I turned it off, smiling. Because now, I was the one who stepped away by choice, and they would never see that coming.